Greetings. So, I don't have a living will and testament or anything, but there were quite a few things that I wanted people who were to remain after I died to know. Some instructions, guidelines, what to do with me and whatnot. And I thought that it might be kind of entertaining for you to hear what some of these were. Now, two very important details that you'll need to know. First, my real name is Stephen. That's my birth given name. And since I went to college, I've had a nickname of Kelvin. Not really going to go into where those came from or anything. Please continue to call me Nephilim or Neph. That's just my preference in this particular incarnation. So I decided it might be entertaining for you to hear these instructions. If I should die, no, this isn't a story, and it's not a will and testament with any kind of official bearing. It is simply an expression of my desires past the point of death. Most of this is entirely impractical. Much of it is downright ludicrous. All of it is incredibly narcissistic, and a large part of it is blasphemous. I don't care. These are my wishes, and I expect them to be followed as closely as possible. Someone should go through my computer. I've left pretty much my whole life on it, so it's going to be the best source of information about me. My thoughts and desires I've kept hidden from others will be there. Go through my hard drives, my email, and my Dropbox in order to get as complete a record of my life as you can. I do want to be remembered by all of this, not just by one or two memories. I will also have left many letters on my computer written to people I've known. Please see to it that these letters reach their intended recipients. It is my wish that what I've written to others is conveyed only to them, and that no one else reads them besides perhaps the one printing them. In matters of ownership, all my possessions should go to my parents if they are alive, if not then to my sister. However, much of what I own will be useless to them. They won't understand my love of, say, role-playing games, swords, comic books, and other similar things. Therefore, they should allow my friends to take of my possessions things that will remind them of me. In particular, and I've left this name out, should be allowed to go through my possessions first and take what she likes. My computer should go to her along with all associated hardware. Most importantly, the original copies of all of my artwork are on my computer. Whoever ends up with it should sell as many prints of it as they can. Pour out my talent. Put it on everything that you can. All of my writing ideas and story beginnings, again, on my computer, should be given to a writer or writers so they can take those ideas and bring them to completion. It will be their story, not mine, but at least I will have contributed as some sort of muse. I have some handwritten journals. Feel free to read them for entertainment value, but know that they no longer represent my feelings on most of the issues mentioned. I've grown out of that person. Please state on my website that I've died, but feel free to allow the subscription to expire if no one wants to continue paying for it. Please send an email to all of my contacts letting them know what's happened. Please post to my Facebook what's happened. These accounts can be left active or may be deleted, all according to the wishes of those who knew me still living. Vote on it. Majority rules. By the time this is read, I may have even created an obituary-style page for my website. All that will be required is to add the link I'll have provided on my main page of my website. This may be an odd surprise, but I don't wish my passing to be announced in the obituaries of any newspaper. I've always hated those damn things. They're always trite and patronizing. The methods I've requested above should be sufficient and are far more likely to reach those I want to know of my death than a newspaper. In all things related to my death, remember this, and it should probably be read at whatever kind of funeral, celebration, or orgy is held in my honor. We owe respect to the living. To the dead, we owe only truth. Voltaire. I am far more interested in the truth in all things being told in relation to me than useless platitudes and hollow compliments. If I loved someone, they should know this. If I hated someone, they also should know this beyond a shadow of a doubt. If people wish to run through the streets of their cities, scrawling "Calvin is dead" on every surface they can find, as they did for Lord Byron, I would personally find this acceptable, honorable, and pleasing. It will be equally so if anyone wishes to occasionally write the phrase in various parts of the world they visit, in a place we spend time together, or simply a place they believe would have been pleasing to me. There are many wishes I've had for what is done with my body when I die. Most of these are extremely impractical, but I'll mention them in order of my desires, just in case I happen to win the lottery and get hit by a bus the following hour or something. First, build a small, and by small I mean one-car garage-sized, replica pyramid, designed after one of the pyramids of Egypt. Have me embalmed and buried according to ancient Egyptian methods. Don't forget to leave the proper sacrifices and whatnot. You'll have to do quite a bit of research, but think of it this way. You'll have learned something, and I've found that's one of the most important and joyful things about life. Fill my body with hematite and jade and drop me in the Mariana Trench. I'll be eaten by all kinds of alien and beautiful creatures, many of them bioluminescent, and through this beautiful medium, my remaining essence will be distributed throughout the world. In the words of Neil deGrasse Tyson, I would request that my body, in death, be buried, not cremated, so that the energy content contained within it gets returned to the earth, so that flora and fauna can dine upon it just as I have dined upon flora and fauna throughout my life. This would be facilitated by dropping my body deep in a forest somewhere. Most of the methods above, though, would legally require that my body be embalmed, which I don't desire, except in the Egyptian case. If this can't be avoided, then please do cremate me, and have a traditional Norse runestone with an epitaph written in runes made and erected in a beautiful place, depositing my ashes around it. Do something interesting and unexpected. Create one of those safety graves with the rope and bell like they had in the 18th and 19th centuries in England, so if the person had been mistakenly buried alive, they could ring the bell. Or ensure my gravestone incorporates a sacrificial bowl or a bench with an inscribed challenge for people to have sex on it. If there's time before I die, have my surname legally changed to something dark and funny like Spectre or Decomposing or Shall Return for Vengeance. If it is decided that I need to be buried in a mainstream way, casket, gravestone, etc., I expect my gravestone and surroundings to be as haunted and gothic as possible. Birch trees would be nice, and they're creepy as hell in winter without leaves. The gravestone should be tall and bear an angel with a skull head or a full skeleton or some such similar depiction. Actually, now that I think about it, something very H.R. Giger would be pretty cool too. Look to Alchemy Gothic for artistic inspiration. The Voltaire quote above would make a good epitaph. Leave dried roses or plant roses that have gone wild, thorns but no flowers. Perhaps sterilize the earth above me so it looks like plants won't grow where I am. You get the idea, I'm sure. Ensure I am interred dressed appropriately as well. In most of the occasions outlined, a good option would be my leather pants and any black shirt I own currently that has velvet on it. I should wear any jewelry not claimed by friends. I almost never wore a suit in life, so wearing one in death would be fairly ridiculous. Sunglasses would be pretty hilarious, but I also did not often wear them. Barring all of these things, the least expensive materials for containing my body should be used. No one's going to see it after it goes in the ground, and there's no sense in spending a lot of money making the box pretty for the few hours it will be seen. If someone wants to build for me a traditional pine box out of $3 planks from a home improvement store with big hinges, rope handles, and a copper plate etched with my name, that would be incredibly cool. I realize I'll probably be buried with my parents, though I'd prefer somewhere far more beautiful. I never liked my hometown, and most of my wishes are obviously anathema and simply wouldn't be allowed to that place and its residents. It would be far better for me to be buried in a place where someone might occasionally accidentally discover my grave, out in the woods somewhere or near a waterfall, etc. At the very least, I wish to be buried near my family's lake cabin. It has always been a place of healing, escape, wonder, and beauty to me. Keep it in mind as a last resort, but I'd prefer it to my hometown. If geocaching is still a thing when I die, I'd be most honored for my grave to house a geocache. It could be built right into the stone if you like. Leave any text suggesting religious themes off my grave and out of any programming surrounding my death. I will have died an atheist, and in many ways an anti-theist, and don't require or desire religion to be present in my passing. Hold a funeral if you must, but as with my gravesite, if you're planning on having a traditional funeral, it should be Gothic. Black lace curtains, death dirges, and Gothic ambience music from Dark Sanctuary, Nox Arcana, Midnight Syndicate, Adrian Von Ziegler, Glenn Danzig's Black Arias, and similar. Dead flowers, women weeping at the loss of my sexual prowess. This last should be very important. People should know how hard I tried to be the best lover I could. 2 women have claimed I was a god in bed. Many others attested to it with their orgasms. Those are some of my proudest accomplishments, and it is my hope that the women who received it felt honored for it. That aside, I'd prefer a more unique sending off to be held than a plain old boring funeral. Throw a traditional Norse funeral party, throw a rave, create a small local version of the Burning Man festival. Do something fun and interesting. Whatever it is, don't let it be lame, typical, or boring. And don't allow anyone to wear cowboy hats or a hat or anything even remotely hick or redneck related. To do so is an affront to my passing. I disrespect not the farm that I grew up on and loving farming, ranching family I was blessed to be a part of, but the hick and redneck cultures that plagued me for the first quarter of my life. An annual celebration of my death would be exceptional as well. Friends would have to ensure this takes place on the first Saturday following the actual day of my death, and it should not be held anywhere my immediate family can witness it. Rum, mead, chartreuse, and absinthe should be consumed. Appropriate readings at any such events would be from Voltaire, either the poet or modern singer, Baudelaire, lyrics from The Cure, Typo Negative or Birthday Massacre, quotes from J.O. Barr's The Crow, or Neil Gaiman's Death comics, specifically Death, not Sandman or any of the others. No children should be conceived at any event relating to me or my death. Ensure this. Even if full-blown orgies take place, highly recommended, make absolute certain that there is no resulting population rise. If children conceived outside celebrations relating to my death are born, and anyone wishes to name them after me, the name used should be Calvin rather than Stephen. If someone desires to name a girl in my honor, feel free to use the name Colette. There is no underlying reason for this. I thought of it just now because it's a fairly similar female name to Calvin, and I feel it's an awfully lovely name for a woman. Anyone wishing to marry me posthumously should do everything in their power to do so. There's bound to be a judge out there somewhere willing to order a court clerk to sign the marriage license. And since I'm dead, I don't believe there's any legal precedent against me marrying as many people as apply to do so. Conversely, if anyone chooses to marry me posthumously and commits adultery, I expect all aware parties to defame and socially destroy them in my stead. If my organs are donated to anyone, I want them to live their life with renewed vigor and joy. Don't you dare spurn what you've been given. Never contemplate suicide. Any part of me surviving my death should be immersed in beauty as often as possible. In fact, if anyone I know commits suicide, know that I will be extremely disappointed in you, and that you're placing yourself in a situation far likelier that I'll be able to find you and kick your ass than any other. I didn't kill myself. Life has been so much more beautiful having lived through my pain and dark hours. I've gone on to do and experience many great and amazing things. See that you do the same. If the following people attempt in any way to attend or participate in any event surrounding my death, including annual celebrations following my death, I wish for them to be summarily and with no regard to civility removed and denied. I have left the names out intentionally. May they rot eternally in the closest thing to hell that exists.